to The Horror, with your hostess with the most Jennifer, as always. So we are continuing our Are You Afraid of the Dark episode review, franchise review, and everything, yada yada yada, you know the routine. So up today, the two episodes up today is The Dream Machine and The Dark Dragon. So let's crack into it. So, The Dream Machine, let me tell you about The Dream Machine. This is definitely one that I certainly really enjoy, especially to, I did a lot of, like, creative writing growing up, not as much now, but, this one, to see, this, like, high school kid really into, like, short stories and everything, writing his own short stories, kind of, using his little crush and everything as his, main female protagonist and everything in his stories, I think is adorable. But yeah, he's, him and his family just kind of like moved into this house. They're doing some renovations and everything. And as he's trying to go up to his room in his attic and everything with his buddy, they one of the steps is kind of like rotted through. So the friend kind of like, falls through the steps and everything, and they come into he pretty much falls into this sort of like little cubby hole / side room and everything. And they find like a bunch of stuff, but specifically this typewriter that is hidden away, and the other kid, the writer, is like, oh my god, this is an antique, oh my god, they don't make these like this anymore. So he takes it up to his room. Excuse me. And, he's all excited about it. I mean, rightfully so. I'd be pretty freaking excited to find a old typewriter like that. I'm weird like that. Whatever. Don't judge. So he writes a little story on it. And it's actually one that he writes about his friend and everything, being in, like, the cemetery. And then, this ghost or whatever comes and gets him. He falls into the grave. And he ends up being buried alive. The kid kind of wakes up, startled from this dream and everything. He's like, oh, I just had a nightmare. Kid writes another story, and then pretty soon he realizes that, anything that he writes on this typewriter will pretty much come to life, and anyone who reads whatever he's produced off of this will just keep reenacting itself pretty much over and over again until basically something's destroyed. He ends up, like, him and his friends end up destroying not necessarily destroying the typewriter, but just, like, destroying this little typewriter's powers and everything, kind of taking it away. So he gets to keep the typewriter, it just doesn't have any sort of magical powers anymore. It's a fun episode, it's one of my favorites, probably not my top 10 favorites, but definitely one worth checking out. It's a fun episode and everything. Check it out. So next one up, as I said, is The Dark Dragon. This is one, I feel like it's a touch underrated. This is another one of those that I sometimes often sort of forget about, and then when I do check it out, when I do rewatch it, I'm like, it is a decent little, episode and everything. I think it's very relatable to a lot of us. Basically, this is about, this kid who lives with his dad. His mother, I think, had passed away or something. I think that's the story. And, he's a little bit of, like, a nerd, a little bit of a loner. He's got, like, these, sort of, like, braces on his legs from an accident he was in, like, a few years before. I think with his mom. I think that's why his mom was out of the picture, because she ended up dying or whatever from the accident. And, he's very kind of, like, he's not really necessarily, like, picked on at school, but he's definitely not, like, always the one who people necessarily come to first to ask out or hang out with or anything. But kids are genuinely kind of, like, they treat him all right. They just aren't like, hey, let's bring so-and-so along. It's kind of one of those things. But there's another girl, another kind of, like, I guess, like, nerdy kind of girl who really sees, good things about him, really kind of sees him for who he is, and is like, hey, I'm okay with that, like, this is just how you are, I like the way you are and everything. So a little more accepting than, like, the other kids are and everything. Like I said, I mean, this kid isn't really, like, picked on or anything, he's just kind of, like, left in the dust, or kind of, like, an afterthought to a lot of, like, the popular kids. But he kind of stumbles into um, Mr. I almost said it, to Sardo's magic shop. No Mr. Exit on the dough. He comes into the magic shop or whatever after seeing a little ad for like, oh, some sort of potion or whatever that'll make you popular, give you everything that you ever needed. So he buys this, this little potion and everything. And before he leaves, he kind of gives a little drop to this little like rabbit that's in a cage at the magic shop, because magic shop rabbits, they go hand in hand. So he gives him just a tiny little drop, and he sees like the cage kind of rattle a little bit, and you see this, what was once a kind of, I don't want to say like rinky dinky rabbit, but just this kind of like shabby rabbit. Kind of then, after this potion is cleaned up, looks amazing and everything, kid's like, all right, cool, man, all right, this actually works, leaves. But after he leaves, because he didn't stay around long enough, this rabbit, then after this potion goes through his system, kind of changes again, and he's even worse than before. Like, this is some, like, borderline, like, Tom Savini type of rabbit stuff, like protocol, kind of like a official, what we're gonna put on screen type of rabbit. This is kind of like a rough draft of rabbit type of thing. This poor rabbit looked so freaking gnarly and everything. It looked disgusting. Which for a kids show, I'm kind of surprised that they even use this rabbit. Let's just say that. So kid goes home, takes a couple of drops, turns into like James Dean. He's cool. He's got style and everything. He walks down to the little corner cafe, and oh, look, one of the popular girls is there with her friends, and he's all like, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm so-and-so's cousin. Hey, you want to go to the little spring fling? All, like, suave and everything, and she's like, okay. Meanwhile, the other girl, the little nerdy girl who's accepting him for who he is like, what the, like, who is that? Like, I don't like that guy. That's not your cousin. Like, who the hell is that? I don't like your cousin. But yeah, he just kind of, is using this and everything, and then the other girl, the nerdy type of girl, she's starting to get jealous. She's like, wait, what the hell? Like, I've liked you from day one. I've accepted you and liked you for who you are. You didn't need to change for me, but you're willing to change for her. Well, fine. I'm gonna change for you, too. So she stumbles upon the little, like, coolness potion, too, and drinks the entire thing. And this girl, bam! Prettier than the other popular girl, I'm gonna say it. So, so the kid is kind of like, what? Drank it? What? So he's all upset now. He's like, what have I done? And then they both are just like, kind of like, at the end, like, they kind of both conquer their, like, inner demons and everything, and it's like, hey, like, why are we changing for, these other people that didn't really like us being us, basically? Let's just be us. We both like each other. Let's go, like, hang out and date and stuff. So it's just kind of one of those things of those, like, morality tales of, like, just be who you are. People will come to you, and people will accept you for who you are. You don't have to change for people, basically. I mean, it's a good episode. I like the little, like, message behind it and everything, the, story and everything. Fun little episode. So, definitely recommend it. This is another one that I would definitely recommend. Check them out here on YouTube, as I've mentioned before. But till next time, you guys, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.